to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? It seems like every day I see posts and people asking questions about some subject out there regarding the Iraqi dinar or pretty much any investment. There's all kinds of hype about everything that's out there, but especially in the dinar community. So I thought I should address some of these questions that you guys are asking me so that you get a better understanding of this subject matter. All right, let's get into this. Before we get started, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. Okay, the most recent ones that I hear are involving the Iraqi dinar when it comes to the rate change or if they delete the zeros. This is the one that I always hear. Wait a minute, wasn't it Trump that said we're going to have a level playing field? Yes, Trump did say we're going to have a level playing field, but when he said that, he didn't say he was going to make everything equal. He wasn't trying to say that, hey, all the exchange rates are now going to be the same, one for one. That's the rumor that I hear all the time. That's not what Trump's talking about when he said that he'd have a level playing field. You got to understand that there are people that we do trade with around the world. And some of those people bring whatever they're manufacturing into our country and they sell the goods here. But they won't allow anything American made into their country. Okay, does that make sense? So like Canada, sell their cars over here or aluminum. We let them do it. But they won't allow us to sell any of our automobiles that are manufactured from the United States into Canada. So that's what Trump's talking about, level playing field. In other words, if we're going to allow you into our market to sell your goods, you have to let us come into your market. China is really notorious for that. They have a closed market. They'll sell everything under the sun into the United States, but won't let the United States sell stuff inside China. Same with Japan, same with Europe, same with Germany. So when Trump said he wanted a level playing field, if you're going to sell shit in our country, you better let us sell crap in your country. That's what a level playing field is. Now, don't get me wrong. Trump has addressed on multiple occasions some countries, Vietnam's one of them, and Sweden is the other one, about them manipulating their currencies. That's something separate altogether. That's not what he's talking about when he said level playing field. He was talking about trade in general. So when people say to me all the time, remember Trump said we're going to have a level playing field, and they assume he's talking about the exchange rate being 1-to-1. That's not what Trump is talking about. There's no 800 numbers, you guys. You guys talk about this still today, after all this time. Still believe there's these 800 numbers you're going to call and get some kind of special service. When the Iraqi dinar redenominates, revalues their currency, and Iraq no longer has any restrictions here in the United States, all you do is just take your currency into the bank. That's where they sell a lot of currency at. You just say to them, here, now that the restrictions are over, I want to go ahead and exchange my currency. You bring in your currency, they just check them through a LaRouge machine and make sure that they're not counterfeit bills. And then they tell you what today's rate is. They tell you how much you have in dinars, and then they tell you how much you can get in US dollars. You can go ahead and make the exchange there. Now, is there an 800 number with that? Sure, I'm sure there is an 800 number. You can call your bank to find out if you can make the exchange there. But there's no special 800 number that you call to get any kind of special news or information about the Iraqi dinar or so-called redemption centers. There's no redemption centers. You can just do it at your bank, or you can go to a currency exchange center and change in your currency. You got to be careful that there aren't some fraudulent people out there claiming to have an 800 number that you call. Then you do something stupid like turn over your dinar to them and then they rip you off. That's the same with the redemption center. They might offer you pennies on a dollar and you get ripped off. You just need to be careful of crap like that. I constantly hear content creators talking about that $35 billion that Trump said in that video. That's what Trump said. And everybody's like, see what? What Trump's talking about is an account that they have set up specifically for oil sales. Not to mention, we hold Iraq's foreign reserves, all the foreign reserves, all their gold holdings. And when they do oil sales, we hold the money. They do them in US dollars. The money gets put into an account here so that we can monitor the money to make sure that they're not giving it to freaking terrorist groups and stuff like that. So what Trump was saying that they should pay us for all the crap that we built there, he said, they can either agree to it. He said we have 35 billion of their money. What he was saying is, look, they can pay us or we just keep their money, is what he's trying to say. Nowhere in there does he say, well, we're holding 35 billion dinars. When he said their money, he's talking about the money that they had in the account, which is in American dollars. He didn't say we're holding on to $35 billion worth of dinar or that we're holding 35 billion dinars, or that we're invested into 35 billion dinars. He never said that. Just understand that there's content creators out there who will purposely mislead you based on something that was said, especially when it comes to Trump. They go, oh yeah, that's it. They're talking about our money. Oh yeah, we're going to do good because look at, this is a good sign. America is holding on to Iraqi dinars. Now, don't get me wrong. The United States does have Iraqi dinar. We have a lot of world's currencies and our foreign reserve currencies that we use. Lots of countries keep other countries' currency in their treasury or at their banks or whatever you want to call it. That's all part of trade. But it's not like they're invested in the Iraqi dinar. They're not going around buying currencies from countries they know are going to revalue. They don't do that. They hold on to other people's currencies because it has to do with trade. That's all it is. So no, the United States is not holding on to 35 billion dinars as an investment. What Trump said is, well, we're holding on to 35 billion of their dollars. Has to do with the oil accounts. That's another thing they love to mislead people with. They're holding on to our money. Ah, ha, ha. I heard Melanie chomping off at lips and laughing about it, claiming to be a financial advisor, and she doesn't know the right information. That goes for most of the content creators that are out there. Another one I heard is, they cannot become a member of the World Trade Organization unless they change their rate. That's false. That's not true at all. The World Trade Organization cannot tell another country what type of exchange rate to have. Every country is under their own sovereignty. They're free countries. Their central banks decide the exchange rate, whether it's going to be free-flowing or fixed. If it's fixed, they determine the rate. But if it's free-flowing, the market determines the rate of their currency. So no, Iraq does not have to change their exchange rate because the World Trade Organization thinks it's too low. That's false. Vietnam is a member of the World Trade Organization, and their currency is way cheaper than the Iraqi dinars. I mean, you can get 1,320 dinars for $1, but you can get over 26,000 Vietnam dong for $1. So yeah, their currency is really devalued. If that was the case, they would have made them change their exchange rate. And there's other countries lower exchange rates than Iraq. So that's a false statement. No, a country does not have to change their exchange rate in order to be a member of the World Trade Organization. And the World Trade Organization cannot make them change their exchange rate. The IMF cannot make them change the exchange rate. The World Bank cannot make any country change their exchange rate. Now, they can make recommendations and they can influence, but they cannot force a country to change their exchange rate because they're under their own sovereignty. They're their own country. There is no, let's get together in a group and we'll do our dinars together so we can get a different exchange rate. You cannot negotiate the exchange rate. The only people that have access to negotiating on an exchange rate isn't a group of people. These are banks. You are not a bank. You're not a banker. You can't go in there and negotiate a better exchange rate. So that's false. There is no tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. That's all a lie. There is nothing going on in Reno that you need to worry about. That's all bullshit. These people do not have intel. They're lying. If they're trying to tell you that they got a military intel, they're full of shit. Do you understand how illegal that is? It's illegal for that to happen. To have somebody that's within the inner workings of an agency that can tell what an exchange rate is before it's released to the public, that's like insider trading. People get arrested for that shit. The people in the military, if this was true, and they had information and they leaked it, you understand they can go to the brig because of this. So no, they're just lying to you. And the military has nothing to do with the exchange rate whatsoever. I believe it's Mark Z's telling everybody he has a insider person that works with a former employee of the finance committee in Iraq. That's bullshit. No person within Iraq is going to tell you what the exchange rate is before it's released, or any other information that's pertaining to Iraq's exchange rate information. People like to use Dr. Shabibi, claiming that Dr. Shabibi said, we're going to have this magical exchange rate on my videos. If you go through there, there's that entire conference where Dr. Shabibi spoke. You can listen to the entire video. Nowhere in there does he say what the exchange rate is going to be. The only time he really talks about the exchange rate is when a gentleman asked him a question directly, and he just started laughing. He said, I can't tell you anything about that, and you know that. He said it. No, I can't tell you anything about it, even if I wanted to. I can't tell you any information pertaining to the exchange rate. Go listen for yourself. Just don't take my word about anything I say. Go look it up. That's the problem. You guys don't go look the shit up because most of you guys don't have time to do that. So you guys will believe anything that you're being told. Just be careful because there's a lot of scam artists that'll rip you off. The fact that you have Mark Z The fact that you have, what's that redheaded idiot that looks like Snuffleupagus? Melanie, claiming that they have insider people that can give you special information. It's a lie. Do you understand? It's illegal. There was a case in which Tony from TNT was involved in when they were telling people that they had an insider person from the White House when the exchange was going to change and when the rate was going to change, crap like that. Claiming they have insider people and really just jammed a lot of people for $1 million. They scammed them, okay? That's what Melanie and that's what Mark Z is doing. They don't have any intel people. And what they're doing is really fucking illegal. So when they talk about the deletion of the zeros, like once I start talking about this goes on for days, you guys. It's not surprising. I did a video showing you that Melanie's pointing going, it's going to come off this nominal rate. There's no nominal rate when it comes to Iraqi dinar. Nominal rate has to do with insurance, not currencies. There's nominal value, which is the dollar amount that's printed on the banknote, okay? That changes. I've explained several times and showed you guys several articles proving that I'm right. She's saying it's not off the currency. And then what did that article from Iraq tell you? It's coming off the currency. As usual, I could prove her wrong all day, every day. And you guys keep asking me to have her on my channel to debate. There's nobody in the dinar community that would even dare come on my channel and debate me. Nobody is more knowledgeable than I am. I'm not making that up. You guys just don't like what I'm saying because you want to believe their lies because you believe you're going to get millions of dollars and have mansions and parties and it's going to be great and you're going to be able to travel around the world. Yeah, they're just misleading you. I'm trying to keep you grounded is what I'm trying to do. What we want to see happen is Iraq to change their exchange rate but leave the zeros on the banknotes. That's what we want. That's how you make your money. If you're going to be rich, that's how it's going to happen. All of a sudden you wake up one day and for whatever reason, Iraq has decided to change their exchange rate to $3.22 without removing the zeros. Boom, there you are. Get that money in right away and collect those millions. Because that's the only way you're going to make millions. Based on all the studying I've done of redenominations and revaluing throughout the histories, that doesn't happen. When they delete the zeros, of course the exchange rate changes, but not in a way you think. If you take 3 zeros off the Iraqi dinar, you take 3 zeros off the exchange rate. So 0.00076 becomes 0.76. So sure, the exchange rate has increased. That's good. But don't multiply that 76 cents times a 25,000 dinar note. They're going to turn it into a 25 dinar note. And even if you have that paper currency and you turn it in, all they're going to do is revalue your currency based on 3 zeros missing. That's how they're going to do their calculation. I'm sorry you guys are being lied to and you don't like this, but it's the truth. I'm just preparing you because I don't want a bunch of people committing suicide. Humanitarian projects. Man, I'm surprised I haven't heard anything about humanitarian projects in a long time. We see here all the time, you cannot change in your Iraqi dinar unless you have a humanitarian project, and the people will try to convince you to go into these LLCs, and tons of people out there wasted money buying LLCs. There's nothing out there that says you have to have a humanitarian project. That's all a lie, and you're wasting your money. Now, having said that, don't get me wrong, if God blesses us, and we absolutely see a huge rate change, and the zeros are still on the dinar, and we're allowed to exchange it, and we become millionaires, I'm going to encourage you to do humanitarian projects. But there's nothing out there that makes it mandatory. That's a lie. There's nothing out there that says you have to have a humanitarian project, and you have to have an LLC to do this. So don't buy that shit. It's all fake, and you just wasted your money. Look, I understand why a lot of people don't like my channel, why they don't like what I'm saying. Just like I did a video, was it yesterday, about peeing in the Wheaties. Yeah, I'm the kind of guy that pees in people's Wheaties. It's not intentional. I want the same thing that you do. I own 5 million Iraqi dinar. You think I want them to take the zeros off and then change the exchange rate? No. And it's not talking negative. I love how people go, oh, well, you're just talking negative. I'm just informing you about things you don't like. So it appears negative to you. I'm just telling you the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts. So if you want people to blow hopium up your ass all day long, lie to you, mislead you, and then when the day comes and it isn't going to happen the way they're telling you and misleading you and lying to you about, don't come jumping off buildings and don't go shooting yourself in the head. Just remember that it was Pimpy that was telling you the truth the whole entire time. I love when people come on my channel and go, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, what am I wrong about? But you don't tell me what I'm wrong about. You can't prove it. People go, well, look what happened to Kuwait. Iraq is just like Kuwait. No, it's not. Not at all. Kuwait is a whole different situation than what happened to Iraq. I get it. Both of them were devalued around the same time, but you didn't see a bunch of brand new banknotes coming from Kuwait with a bunch of zeros on them. That didn't happen. Iraq got new currency, a bunch of zeros on there, because Saddam Hussein printed out Iraqi dinar like it was candy and inflated the hell and devalued the hell out of the Iraqi dinar. And that's why you had dollars with big zeros on there. Plus, in addition to that, all the punishments from sanctions and everything else caused high inflation, caused dinars to have to add zeros on there, really devalued their currency. So it was a combination of things. But Kuwait didn't have to go through that. They were prepared. They had a sovereign fund to help them get through all the hard times and rebuilding their country. Where we at right now, 20-something years, and Iraq is still going through this shit. So no, it's not the same as what happened to Kuwait. And I know they mislead you and they go, oh, it's going to be a more valuable dinar than Kuwait. Yeah, that's possible. Is Iraq going to hit a 322 exchange rate like they did back in the glory days? Al-Sadani told us it's going to be like the glory days, pimpy. I know. But if you go back to the so-called glory days when the exchange rate was $3.22, did they have 10,000 dinar notes? Did they have 25,000 dinar notes? 50,000 dinar notes? No. What'd they have? 5, 10, 20, 25, 50, 100? That's the kind of dinar notes that they had. Then multiply that times 322. But you don't see them with 25,000 dinar notes times 322 for exchange rate. That did not happen. Well, most likely what's going to happen is they're going to delete the zeros off. They're going to give it a little time for people to get used to the new dollars, make adjustments to all the businesses with the new currency, and then most likely will change the exchange rate to a much higher rate than where it is. Can Iraq get to the 322 exchange rate? Yeah, I believe they can. So when they redenominate, maybe you don't exchange it right away to US dollars. Maybe then you just hold on to the new dollars without the zeros on there. And even though your 5 million has now become 5,000, then what you do is just hold on to that 5,000 and cross your fingers that they change the exchange rate a little bit down the line to the old glory days of 322. Then multiply that times your currency, whatever you have without the 3 zeros. Another thing I hear all the time, pimpy, their currency is going to be valuable because they have so much oil. The value of a currency's exchange rate isn't just based on oil sales. Don't get me wrong, it's a huge plus. But there's other factors that are involved. I've done plenty of videos explaining to people how currencies become valuable, what countries need to do to make their currency more valuable than it is. Hell, I've done videos showing you Kuwait versus Iraq, why they're two different situations. I showed you guys how inflation affects your currency exchange rate. I've done videos about the World Trade Organization and how it has no bearing on Iraq's exchange rate. Everything I'm talking about, I've made videos about them. There's a playlist. All you have to do is go to my videos and go to the playlist, choose the Iraqi dinar, go down and get educated. And stop letting these people lie to you. Now, for the vast majority of the people that listen to my videos, they've been listening to me for a while. They're educated. They're hip to the game. They're grounded. I understand there's a handful of people that listen to me and they're confused and they're upset and they're mad. I get it. I would be mad too if people kept misleading me and not preparing me for what could possibly be a different outcome with the Iraqi dinar. Don't be mad at me, be mad at them. But my regular listeners, they already are prepared. Again, I'm not saying that it won't happen, but I'm dealing with probabilities. Whether or not they delete the zeros, that's what we're really watching. Can Iraq increase your exchange rate without deleting the zeros? That's what we are watching for. Now, the other thing that makes me upset is the fact that they're talking about a central bank digital currency. Good Lord, try to avoid that if possible. Now, I do believe in the beginning they are going to have banknotes going side by side with the central bank digital currency just to see what happens. There are no numbers on the back screen. That's a lie. It has nothing to do with back screen numbers. There are no people standing by in the redemption centers because them poor people have been standing by for 20-something years, okay? When it comes to people like Felony Melanie, I just heard her the other day say, I'm in no mood for negative comments. If you leave anything negative, I'm just going to block you. She don't want you challenging her on her information. You guys leave negative shit about me and I read it in my videos. I don't have to hide from it. I know I'm right. I know they're wrong. I'm not going to block anybody. I haven't blocked anybody ever. Anyways, I just wanted to go through and address some of these situations, stories that I hear all the time. I hope that helps you guys out. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. And I'll get back at you later. I'm out.